It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Hey, we are back with the Real Estate Breakfast Property Podcast and the Australian housing market, and streaming right now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts from Darwin to Canberra, plus all of those fantastic regional areas around the country, and there's plenty of them. Hope your weekend was a good one. We're back into another Monday, steering down the end of the month for March, the 23rd today. Happy birthday, Reese Witherspoon, who is blowing out 50 candles. Can you believe it? Titanic, on this day, 1998, they were dominating the Oscars with 11 Academy Awards. And staying with boats, Australia won in 1983 the America's Cup. That really did reshape a national pride and economic momentum, including confidence in the property market. Can you remember? If you're listening, we'd love to get your thoughts on that. Our email, as always, is myrealestatepodcast@gmail.com. Now, one of the most interesting property stories right now is happening just outside of Perth, the coastal city of Mandurah. This has quickly become one of the hottest housing markets in Australia. Over the past year alone, home prices have surged more than 22%, well ahead of the national average. What's driving it? Well, a mix of affordability, lifestyle appeal, that is in there, and a shortage of homes on the market. Remember, when more people are chasing fewer homes, that's always where price pressure starts. So let's take you to WA, where we are joined by Ben Hatch from Harcourts in Mandurah. And welcome to you on this Monday morning to the Real Estate Breakfast. Yes, it's very close to Perth. That travelling distance, just over 70 Ks, and tell us the drive time.
Yeah, and thank you for the lovely greeting. And yes, I turn 50 next month, so congratulations to me and Reese Witherspoon. Great to know I'm up with her. Yeah, definitely the time from Perth to Mandurah, you're looking by car, it's about an hour and 15 minutes, so give or take. And then train, you're looking at around 55 minutes directly from Mandurah to Perth.
Your area, it has really grown in numbers because the greater Mandurah city population is almost at, look at that, 100,000 people, and the suburb of Mandurah, it is almost 9,000, so plenty of people coming into the region.
There certainly is, and it's a great place. Just the layout of Mandurah itself, there's great infrastructure, lots of restaurants, waterways is a huge attraction. But Mandurah is so diverse. You've got Mandurah and surrounds, I should say. So you've got all your, as I said, your waterways, central living, you've got marinas, you have acreage properties. It is so diverse, and everything's within a 15-minute radius of each other, which it's a great locality.
Kwinana, a very important word for your region. So tell people what that is.
You're talking about the Kwinana Freeway, so that is certainly is. That's our direct access to Perth. Obviously, it's a lot of our population actually or community work in Perth, and fly in, fly out, for instance, plays a huge part to our community for sure.
Let's have a look at the median house price in Mandurah, currently sitting at around 620 grand. Mandurah is currently one of, as I mentioned, the strongest performing regional markets in Western Australia. Annual growth, this is interesting, house prices in Mandurah has seen a 22% increase over the past 12 months. Days on market, the median days on market around 36. If you look at the rental yield, the current gross rental yield for houses in the area is 4.1% with a median weekly price of $550. So all of that points to positivity.
It certainly does. Mandurah it's great value for money. It's been a little bit of a sleepy hollow up until really 2021, 2022 is when it started to be seen again. And then everyone appreciated for what it is, for its tourism, etc. I think we've won the tourism award 3 years in a row. So it's the biggest day destination in Australia for tourists. It's definitely being seen now, and that's another reason why people are attracted down this way.
I just want to throw in a little historical price context over the last 10 years or so. If you go back to 2014, 2015, the median house range was 350 to 375,000. 10-year growth, 55% increase on houses. Over a 5-year growth for the region, they're saying 140%, and that is just for the houses alone. It is on the up and up. One of the key reasons for that is the affordability versus Perth. Entry price is significantly lower than Perth Metro, larger blocks and waterfront options, and you talk about, with good reason, that coastal estuary living.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And I'll go back to those years of 2014, 2015. So Mandurah was already in an all-time low. We had a huge sellout of investors. So if you go back to 2006, so there was 32% occupancy in the Mandurah greater region, and so that means 68% of properties owned was to investors. So we had a huge 10, 12 years of selling where we predominantly just sold to owner-occupiers. So we didn't see any investors down this way. So the owner occupancy rate has now transitioned to over 70%. So there was, I think, such a lull in the market when it came to growth. You would build a home down here many years ago, and you would not what it owed you for the land and the actual build was that if you went to sell it was actually considerably less in value. So whereas now I think that's been seen, it's changed. The owner occupancy rate has increased. We've got so many more. There's a lot more shopping centres, schools. There's a lot more attractions here for people to call Mandurah home. It has boomed. It has boomed. Like, we're watching the roads fill up with a lot of people. There's all the restaurants are full again. It's such a great place to be in, and it feels great.
We are talking with Ben in Mandurah, WA this morning. We have got more to come in just a moment, because I do want to ask him, with the growth that has happened, just what is happening at the moment with investors there. We'll talk about that the other side of this.
Stay ahead of the competition with the latest news, insights and data analysis on the property podcast that keeps you informed. It's your weekday real estate breakfast with news, interviews and predictions every morning on the Real Estate Podcast.
And I got a wealth building quote for you this morning from billionaire Warren Buffett, who says, "Someone's sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago." Take it any way you want, that piece of advice, on our Monday morning. It is the Real Estate Breakfast, and we are in Mandurah. Ben is with us. And yeah, Ben, I just want to come back to that growth aspect that we've been talking about this morning. It's on the radar with the investors that are coming in. Not only the investors, those buyers' agencies. How busy are both of those for you right at the moment?
It has been extremely busy, and it's come in bursts. So we started seeing the investors in 2021 and in full force by 2023. They dwindled off in a little bit in 2024, start of 2025, and then probably middle of last year and onwards, it's really kicked back into gear. And we're seeing, again, lots of and different buyers agencies from the East Coast introducing their buyers over here. Again, it's slowed just a smidgen, just with the interest rate hikes and what's been going on in the world. So the volume has dropped a little bit, but we're expecting that to kick off again in the up and coming months.
You say that it has slowed a smidgen. That slowing slightly after the rapid gains of the past few years. The demand, though, still remains strong. Western Australia's population is expected to keep rising. That's one of the key positives. And as buyers get priced out of inner suburbs in Perth, nearby lifestyle cities like Mandurah, they're likely to stay firmly on the radar. That's kind of like a built-in insurance policy somewhat, because it is going to get more expensive for people in Perth.
Funny that you say that, because Perth, obviously, the median house price is a lot more than where we are down in Mandurah. And then you jump down to Busselton, Dunsborough area, and obviously their median house prices are higher than ours as well. We're cushioned right in between. So all of a sudden you are seeing people, instead of travelling to Busselton, Dunsborough, Margaret River, they're commuting an hour away from Perth to Mandurah and buying their holiday homes and investments down here. So it's been a really interesting journey. I just wanted to add to that as well. So we've we've had so many owner-occupiers in the Peel region who have been sitting on the fence for about 3 or 4 years now because they've been too scared to sell because there's so much demand on property down here. Once the investors actually do taper off a little bit, we're going to have this influx of people wanting to upsize, downsize in their own community that'll enter the market, plus that high immigration, that flow-on effect for the next couple of years of people needing to buy or build.
You must get a lot of people with boats saying, gee, this is great, I can cash out where I am. They might be in a Melbourne even, cashing out because they like the marina set up there. Certainly you'd be getting boaties out of Perth. That infrastructure around boating, that is such a big ticket item if you're into your boating.
And it's a great lifestyle. If you can have your boat at your back doorstep, you can pull up at the restaurants, you can go into town. There's all jetty infrastructure all the way through our waterways, which is fantastic. And then you can also go upriver up to the Ravenswood, and there's the Sandy Cove Taverns, there's Pelicans, Ravenswood Hotel, eateries up the river that you can go and enjoy. I love it. I've been here for 36, 37 years, and every time we go away, we end up being happy to come home.
All right, sounds like a very picturesque area. Have not visited yet, but look forward to doing that at some time in the future. Ben, have yourself a great Monday and enjoy all of what is on offer there. Thanks for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast, and enjoy your Monday.
That is a pleasure, Craig. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Please come down, have a look what we're all about. It is a lovely, lovely place to visit or to move to.
We are just as addicted to property as you are. The Real Estate Podcast.
Your super has been accruing and getting higher every year, so you've got a pretty good lump sum in there. If you can utilise that as your deposit, you can then get a mortgage using a much larger deposit, which is a much smaller mortgage overarchingly.
The median house price in Ballarat is hovering around 600,000, which is, it's great. We're happy again.
Units, like houses in Ballarat, it is pumping here across the board, and you find the median unit price, depending which suburb you look, sits anywhere between sort of 400 to 440,000.
Yeah, we're finding a lot of investors seeing great value in Victoria, and particularly the regional areas such as Geelong. And some of these blocks are actually quite large in land size, so you've got the ability to add value through granny flats or construction of secondary dwellings. A lot of investors are looking for yield and that affordability play to get into the market.
Around FOMO, is that almost back? Where do you place FOMO at the moment?
FOMO is right up there. My gosh, I can tell you just anecdotally from the last weekend, we opened a property for half an hour and had 67 groups of people through a property. A lot of people missing out and perhaps overlooking a property that might not be their forever dream home just to purchase the home and get into a particular suburb or an area because they've been looking so long.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.